Crimea is on fire. Ukrainian drones strike radar systems, armored depots and a key Russian airbase. While Moscow guarded its parade, a rare military state was hit. Russia speeds up war production, but Ukraine fights back inch by inch. In Kyiv region, a deadly drone strike kills and injures civilians. Drones dominate. The battlefight is changing. With you, Zaroslava Kolesnikova, I am here to bring you all the latest and most important news from the front line. Stay with us, the truth is next. A daring operation by Ukrainian security service has struck deep into the Black Sea. Using a combination of aerial and sea drones, USS forces destroyed a Russian naval radar system on a captured drilling platform, one used to track air and sea targets. Then sea drones hit again, targeting and damaging storage facilities and its residential block on the same platform. The attack was carried out by the 13th Directorate of Military Counterintelligence, a bold message from Ukraine. No sea, no sky, no place is safe.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine today. Join us now.
We start with exclusive footage. Ukraine's army is now one of the strongest in the world, and Russia is feeling it hard. While the Kremlin focused its best air defense on protecting the Moscow, Ukraine struck a rail military facility, something believed to exist in just one copy. It was not just about power, it was a smart, strategic and hit deep into Russia's defense industry. Ukraine is fighting with brains and precision, and it shows. Let's watch the details.
Here it comes again. Do you hear that sound? There it is.
They won't be able to shoot it down over the fiber. Where are you looking?
Our enemies let our drones slip through in the capital of Mordovia, Saransk. There they struck the first and only plant for the production of fiber optic systems. Its production capacity is 4 million kilometers of fiber per year. This is where they make fiber optic cable for enemy frontline drones, so halting production should help our guys on the front lines. Cable and optical cable arrived in Saransk.
In Tal, Russia. Now, this is the only plant that supplies fiber optic cable on a large scale for the front, specifically for the Russian army. According to available information, the plant has suspended its operations for a certain period of time. Is that a car coming?
Everything's fine. Everything's okay.
At least 7 explosions were counted by locals at the Basalt plant in the Moscow region, Dana, the main defense enterprise in Russia, where weapons and ammunition are produced for all branches of the military.
The area is burned out. What an idiot.
Blazing Alloy is the only enterprise in Russia that designs and develops multiple launch rocket systems and munitions for the Solntsepyak. It was here that the Grads, Uragans, and Smerch systems were produced. This is one of the top priority weapons manufacturing enterprises in Russia. In Tula, our forces also attacked the Instrument Design Bureau, one of the flagships of the Russian military-industrial complex, which is engaged in the development of high-precision guided weapons.
Now Ukraine is trying to destroy such enterprises, ones that have no equivalence within the Russian Federation itself. Here we see the tactic, the strategy, to destroy enterprises in Russia that are essentially one of a kind.
And this is how the Kamaz plant in Tatarstan was ablaze. Overall, since the beginning of the year, Ukrainian kamikaze drones have attacked more than 24 defense industry enterprises in Russia. To fend off our UAVs, the Russians have deployed their alligators with which means the complexity of drone operations is increasing.
So it's necessary to avoid not only the anti-aircraft missile system positions, but also to make sure you don't enter the operational area of helicopters.
It was a night of fire and chaos in occupied Crimea. In Jankoy, automatic gunfire, drones and powerful explosions shook the air. According to reports, Ukraine launched a major missile strike on the military airbase, home the 39th Helicopter Regiment of Russia 27th Mixed Aviation Division. The results were devastating. 4 S-400 missile launched and destroyed. 3 radar stations hit, Air Defense Command Center and surveillance equipment for damaged. Several Su-25 attack jets hit, up to 30 Russian troops killed, around 18 wounded. This base supports Russian helicopter operations, giving them an edge in battles, especially in southern Ukraine. But the edge is now burning. Analysts confirm this was a legal and powerful blow. The sky over Crimea is no longer safe. Ukrainian USS drone struck a key Russian military site near village of Perevalne in occupied Crimea. The target ammunition and fuel depot of Russians 146 Coastal Defenders Brigade.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Inside boxes of weapons and fuel. The result: massive explosions, fire and chaos.
Ёб твою, ой, господи. Чуть окно не вылетело.
Footage shows powerful detonations lighting up the night. Locals reported thick smoke rising over the base, and Russian forces even shut down the nearby Simferopol-Alushta highway. Another blow deep in Crimea. Ukrainians' drones are rewriting the map one strike at a time. The Ukrainian armed forces are holding the line and crushing the enemy, but the cost is high. At the same time, Russia's military factories are working non-stop. They are bringing back all Soviet tanks, building warships and producing drones and missiles at record speed. Since mid-2033, Russian war production was hit shocking new levels, and every new strike on Ukraine is proof. We'll show you what's really happening at the front, the numbers, the impact and the fight ahead. The truth behind the battlefight coming up now.
Russia is ramping up weapons production. More and more, the international community is predicting peace agreements, but meanwhile, Russia is expanding its military-industrial complex on a scale that was previously unimaginable. The numbers are truly shocking and, of course, indicate preparations for an even larger new phase of the war, or perhaps preparations for an attack on European countries. According to the latest research, the Omsk tank plant is one of the largest tank factories in Russia. This plant takes old T-80 tanks produced decades ago and modernizes them, operating around the clock. It is known that the level of activity at Kyiv Transmash increased before Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, but then declined. However, after the full-scale invasion, the number of Russians at the plant rose sharply. The level of activity has remained especially high since mid-2023. The same trend can be observed at all defense enterprises in Russia. At the same time, Uralvagonzavod, the largest tank factory in Russia, showed significantly more activity in 2024 than in 2023. The Arzamas plant, which produces armored personnel carriers, as well as the Kurganmash Zavod and Motovilicha plants, which manufacture infantry fighting vehicles, are also experiencing a boom in 2025. Artillery production is also ramping up. The figures and growth trends point to a clearly predictable escalation. According to The Economist, the Yekaterinburg plant number 9 produces barrels for howitzers and tanks, and satellite images show artillery guns and cannons parked out in the open. Just a few kilometers from there is also the Novata facility, which develops Iskander ballistic missiles. In addition, there are signs of significant growth at the Volgograd Titan Barricades plant, where Iskander launchers are built, and at the Splav Research and Production Association in Tula, which manufactures Grad, Uragan and Smerch rockets. Producing 3 million shells a year requires enormous quantities of explosives. The largest enterprise in Russia for their production is the Sverdlov plant in Dzerzhinsk, which specializes in manufacturing chemicals for artillery shells and guided aerial bombs. In recent months, the output at this plant has increased significantly. As noted by Julian Cooper, an expert from the University of Birmingham, increased activity has also been observed at the Selmash plant in Kyiv, where ammunition casings are produced. The rise in Russian drone attacks on Ukrainian territory is evidence of the hyperactive work of Russia's defense industry. In particular, this aligns with the increased activity at the Alabuga plant in Tatarstan, where these drones are produced, as well as at the nearby Begishevo airport. These are not the only signs of Russia's hyperactive defense industry. The Economist has observed a number of other indicators. For example, in Bisk, where there is an important plant producing oleum, which is used in explosives. Specifically, the average daily traffic between residential areas and districts with chemical plants increased by 19% in 2023, and the amount of time people stay in one place increased by 32% during periods associated with the second and third work shifts at chemical plants. Medieval methods of punishment continue to thrive within the ranks of the Russian army. Deserters in the Russian army continue to be tortured on camera. Another video of abuse within the Russian army has appeared online. In the footage, a deserter soldier is dragged along the ground, chained by the leg like livestock.
Golden? Dad, look! We caught you the 500th!
They threaten to throw him into a pit, a place where, according to the occupiers, a fight for survival will be arranged. And this is not a metaphor. There have previously been reports that such soldiers are forced to fight each other, or are left without food and water, locked inside metal barrels. This incident once again demonstrates just how degraded the personnel management system of the Russian armed forces remains. No regulations, only fear, torture, and public executions. The army that, according to Russian propaganda, is supposed to fight for a great idea, in reality drowns its own soldiers in a swamp of savagery. The behavior of the invaders, captured on video, leaves no doubt. Russia is fighting not only against Ukraine, but also against itself.
Ha ha! Let's go feed the animals that tried to confess to us. Let's take a look at these creatures, see what they're up to here. Oh, look at them sitting there. They're beauties.
Cannon fodder for the sake of concessions. How the Kremlin storms the front for the sake of negotiations. A war supposedly for the sake of peace. This is exactly what the Kremlin's strategic calculation looks like today, sending poorly trained conscripts into frontal assaults to gain more leverage at the negotiating table. This is stated in a new report by the American Institute for the Study of War.
A night of terror in Kyiv region. On May 18, Russian forces launched wave after wave for deadly Shahid drones. Explosions rocked the city of Vasilkiv and fires broke out across several communities. In Abukiv district, a 28-year-old woman was killed when her home was hit. 3 others, including a child born in 2019, were injured. Nearby buildings had windows shattered by the blast. A fire also spread through a garage area, damaging multiple structures.
Увага всім, повітряна небезпека.
one of the largest fires broke out at a medical center, 5,000 square meters of warehouse and admin buildings. Emergency crew are still on the ground batting the damage. This was not just another attack, it was a night of grief, fear and flames, and a reminder that the war reached far beyond on the front line. That's all for now, but the fight for the truth never stops. Leave a comment, like this video and hit the bell so you never miss an update. And most importantly, become a part of our team here at Ukraine Today. Support our by becoming a sponsor and stand with Ukrainian journalists who, despite the war, keep reporting the truth for you and for the world.